God says, I want you to be with this person, but this person is not who your emotions first expected. My child, stop for just a moment and listen with your heart, because this message did not arrive on your screen by accident. This is not random timing. This is not another passing video. This is a divine interruption, sent directly into the place where your heart has been tired from guessing, tired from waiting, tired from misreading people, tired from asking, Lord, is it them, or am I only hoping again? God is stepping into the chase. God is interrupting the pattern. God is placing his hand over the noise that has been pulling you toward familiar confusion and saying, pause, because what I am about to reveal will not feel like the old cycle. Stay with me, because something huge is waiting for you in this message, and if you leave too quickly, you may miss the very sign your spirit has been praying to recognize. The shocking sign is not only a name, it is not only a dream, it is not only a repeated number appearing on the clock, on a receipt, on a license plate, or in the middle of a song that suddenly makes your heart tremble. The deeper sign, the sign heaven is highlighting, is peace. Not weak peace, not boring peace, not the kind of peace that means nothing is happening. This is covenant peace, the kind of holy calm that exposes the difference between chemistry and covenant, between emotional addiction and divine alignment, between someone who awakens your wounds and someone who helps your spirit breathe again. Because the wrong connection has been loud, it has been familiar, it has pulled at you like an old song you know you should not keep replaying, but somehow still remember every word. It has felt intense, but intensity is not always intimacy. It has felt powerful, but power is not always purpose. Sometimes what you called passion was actually anxiety wearing perfume. Sometimes what you called a soul tie was a wound recognizing another wound. And God is saying, my child, I am not sending you back into chaos and asking you to call it love. The one God is highlighting may arrive quietly, steadily, without the dramatic confusion you once mistook for depth, without the constant wondering, chasing, proving, decoding, and begging for basic consistency. And this is why your emotions may not recognize them at first, because your emotions have been trained by turbulence, but your spirit is being retrained by peace. Before this message unfolds, like this video, if you are asking God for clarity and love, subscribe if you want more messages about divine discernment, and comment, Lord, show me the one sent by you, not as a performance, but as an act of surrender. Because this is the moment the old chase begins to break, and heaven starts teaching you how the right person will truly be confirmed. And this is why your heart has been pulled toward the wrong familiar energy, my child, because pain has a memory. Pain remembers the voice that made you wait. Pain remembers the silence that made you question your worth. Pain remembers the person who gave you just enough attention to keep you hoping, but never enough clarity to let you rest. And if you are not healed, your heart can mistake that old shaking inside of you for confirmation. You can feel the trembling and call it a sign. You can feel the anxiety and call it love. You can feel the uncertainty and say, maybe this is God testing me, when heaven is actually saying, no, my child, this is the wound asking to be chosen again. Stay with me, because this is where the revelation begins to cut deeper. Many of you have not been chasing a person. You have been chasing a feeling that was planted in you long before this connection ever appeared. The fear of being left, the fear of not being enough, the fear that if you do not prove yourself, perform perfectly, reply quickly, forgive endlessly, wait silently, and keep lowering your own needs, love will walk away from you. That is not covenant. That is captivity wearing the language of romance. And God is saying, my child, I did not design love to make you lose yourself in order to feel chosen. The counterfeit connection will often make you pray harder, but feel less peaceful. It will make you wait longer, but feel less valued. It will make you compromise more, but receive less clarity. It will pull you into your prayer closet again and again, not because it is building holy patience, but because it keeps wounding the same place God is trying to heal. And yes, God can use the pain to teach you, but do not confuse the lesson with the promise. Do not confuse the person who exposed your wound with the person God has assigned to cover you in peace. Somebody listening right now knows exactly what this means, because you have been calling it spiritual warfare when it may actually be misalignment. You have been saying, the enemy is attacking this connection. when the deeper truth is that your spirit has never been able to rest inside that connection. You keep asking God for another sign, another dream, another confirmation, another number, another coincidence, because the fruit in front of you is not giving you peace. And when fruit is absent, the heart becomes desperate for signs. But God is not going to let you build a covenant on confusion. This is why there have been delays. This is why certain doors did not open when you begged them to open. This is why the message did not come, the apology did not last, the promise did not become consistent, and the cycle kept revealing itself. God was not only choosing a person for you, God was healing the part of you that keeps choosing from fear. He was touching the place in you that believes love must be earned through anxiety. He was breaking the hidden agreement that said, if I can finally make this unavailable person choose me, then I will finally feel worthy. My precious soul, your worth was never supposed to be proven by someone's inability to love you correctly. And this is where the shocking sign is going to expose what your emotions could not discern. The wrong person often feels powerful because they match an old wound. They know how to activate the version of you that chases, explains, waits, overthinks, and abandons your own peace just to keep a connection alive. But the right person will begin to feel different because they match God's peace. Their presence will not throw your spirit into panic. Their consistency will not make you suspicious forever. Their communication will not require you to become a detective. Their affection will not come wrapped in confusion. Do not scroll past this, because heaven is pulling your attention to something very specific. The person God is highlighting may not create the same emotional storm you once called passion. They may not trigger the same nervous excitement that came from wondering if you were finally being picked. Instead, something in you may become quiet, something in you may exhale, something in you may say, I do not have to fight to be seen here. And because you are so used to chaos, peace may feel strange before it feels safe. But God is retraining your discernment. He is teaching your heart that love does not have to bruise you to be deep. It does not have to confuse you to be spiritual. It does not have to keep disappearing to make you pray. The sign you are waiting for will not only be around you, it will happen within you. The wound will be triggered by the counterfeit, but the spirit will be calmed by the covenant. And when peace begins to agree with character, and character begins to agree with repeated confirmation, you will understand why God stopped the old chase before it stole another season of your life. And now God is bringing you into the covenant test, my child, because attraction alone is not enough to identify what heaven has approved. Your emotions can be stirred by many things that are not sent by God. Your flesh can be excited by attention that has no intention. Your imagination can build a future around someone whose character cannot even carry a conversation with honesty. This is why God is slowing you down before you attach your heart again, because the next door cannot be judged by how fast your pulse moves. It must be judged by what happens to your spirit when that person enters your life. Do not miss this, because this is where many chosen ones make the mistake. They ask, do I feel chemistry? Before they ask, do I feel peace? They ask, are they attractive? Before they ask, are they consistent? They ask, do they make me feel wanted? Before they ask, do they honor God in the way they handle me? And God is saying, my child, passion can be loud and still be empty. Chemistry can be strong and still be unsafe. Desire can be intense and still lead you away from me. The person heaven is confirming will not only awaken feelings in you, they will awaken fruit around you. Something huge is waiting for you, but you must stop asking only who excites your flesh and start asking who strengthens your spirit. Because the one God is sending will not require you to abandon your calling just to keep their attention. They will not make you silence your convictions so they can feel comfortable in their compromise. They will not ask you to shrink your spirit, dim your discernment, or pretend you do not hear God clearly just so the connection can survive. A God-sent person will not compete with your obedience. They will respect it. They will not be threatened by your prayer life. They will be strengthened by it. They will not pull you into a version of yourself you had to be healed from. They will help you become stable, honest, prayerful, and whole. Stay with me, because the sign is going to shock you, and it may point to someone you overlooked while you were distracted by the person who kept confusing you. Yes, my precious soul, it may be someone quieter than your old type, someone steadier than the storm you once called love, someone whose presence did not immediately trigger obsession, but quietly introduced safety. Someone who did not play with your emotions, did not use distance as control, did not make you beg for clarity, did not make you feel like loving them meant losing access to yourself. This is the covenant test. Peace before passion, character before chemistry, fruit before fantasy. Watch how they respond when things do not go their way. Watch how they speak when they are disappointed. Watch whether humility lives in them or whether pride controls every conversation. Watch whether patience is present, whether consistency has a pattern, whether their words and actions walk in the same direction. God is not asking you to become suspicious of everyone. He is asking you to become spiritually awake. There is a difference between fear and discernment. Fear looks for danger, even where God is giving peace. Discernment recognizes when a beautiful feeling is hiding a destructive pattern. The counterfeit will rush your emotions while avoiding accountability. The covenant will honor timing while building trust. The counterfeit will make you feel chosen one day and discarded the next. The covenant will not be perfect, but it will have a spirit of honesty, repair, patience, and responsibility. The counterfeit will make your nervous system call anxiety love. The covenant will teach your heart that peace is not the absence of passion. It is the foundation where passion can become holy instead of harmful. So before you ask God for a name, ask God for fruit. Before you ask for a dream, ask for discernment. Before you ask why you cannot stop thinking about someone, ask whether that person is helping you become more like the version of you God has been healing you to become. Because the person God wants for you will be confirmed by covenant qualities, not by emotional chaos disguised as love. And when God begins to highlight the real one, the evidence will not only be in the way your heart feels, it will be in the peace, the consistency, the humility, the patience, and the spiritual alignment that follow them like a divine signature. And the first confirmation, my child, the first sign heaven will allow your spirit to recognize is this. When this person is near, something inside you gets quiet, not dead, not empty, not uninterested. Quiet. The alarm stops screaming. The overthinking loses its grip. The need to perform begins to fall off your shoulders. You do not feel like you have to become more impressive, more available, more agreeable, more beautiful, more useful, more silent, or more wounded just to keep their attention. Your spirit does not feel like it is standing at a locked door begging to be let in. It feels like it has finally entered a room where it can breathe. Stay with me, because this is the sign many people miss. Divine peace does not always feel dramatic at first. Sometimes it feels so calm that your old pattern will try to call it boring. Sometimes it feels so steady that the wounded part of you will wonder if anything is happening at all. Because when you have lived inside emotional turbulence, peace can feel unfamiliar. When you have been trained by hot and cold affection, consistency can feel strange. When your heart has survived people who made love feel like a test you were always failing, someone who simply shows up with honesty may not trigger the same storm. But God is saying, do not mistake the absence of chaos for the absence of connection. The counterfeit makes your mind run ahead. The counterfeit makes you check your phone again and again. The counterfeit makes you reread messages, study tone, analyze delay, decode silence, and question whether you said too much or not enough. The counterfeit creates urgency in your nervous system and calls it chemistry. It makes obsession feel like prophecy. It makes insecurity feel like passion. But the person God is confirming will create grounded clarity over time, not instant fantasy, not forced certainty, not a rushed emotional high that collapses when accountability appears. Grounded clarity, a quiet knowing that grows as their fruit keeps agreeing with their words. Watch the practical clues, my precious soul. Conversations with them feel honest. You do not feel like every sentence has to be edited to avoid punishment. You can say what you mean without fearing that one truthful moment will cost you the whole connection. Silence is not used as a weapon. If there is a pause, it does not feel like abandonment. If there is a boundary, it is respected instead of mocked, pushed, or turned against you. If you need time, they do not punish you for being human. If you speak with vulnerability, they do not use it later as a knife. This is not about someone being flawless. This is about a spirit of safety, humility, and emotional responsibility. And somebody listening knows exactly why this feels so shocking, because you are used to love making you feel on trial. You are used to explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. You are used to shrinking your needs so the connection does not break. You are used to calling anxiety a sign because anxiety was the only strong feeling you knew how to measure. But God is retraining your spirit. He is teaching you that the right person will not require you to abandon peace as the price of being loved. Do not scroll away from this, because heaven is touching the exact place where your discernment has been confused. The shocking part is that peace may feel less exciting than the old pattern at first. It may not give you the same emotional rush as the person who kept you uncertain. It may not pull you into that familiar chase where every small message felt like a reward and every silence felt like punishment. But that old excitement was expensive. It cost you sleep. It cost you confidence. It cost you prayer that was full of fear instead of surrender. God is not sending someone who keeps your spirit in emergency mode. The first sign is peace. Not boring peace, but holy calm. Not weak peace, but protective peace. Not peace that removes desire, but peace that gives desire a clean place to grow. When this person is near, your spirit begins to recognize safety after seasons of confusion. You feel more honest, not more hidden, more steady, not more frantic, more yourself, not more desperate. And God is saying, pay attention to the one around whom your soul stops fighting for permission to rest. Because the peace you thought was too quiet may be the very sign heaven is using to protect you. And now the second confirmation begins to rise, my child, and you must listen with your spirit, because this sign is deeper than attraction, deeper than timing, deeper than the way their name keeps appearing in your thoughts. The second sign is this: their presence pulls you closer to God. They do not become an idol in your heart. They do not take the place of the voice that healed you, corrected you, covered you, and carried you through the seasons when nobody else understood your tears. They make you want to pray clearly. They make you want to live wisely. They make you want to walk in obedience, not because they are controlling you, but because something about the connection reminds you of who God has been calling you to become. Stay with me, because this is where heaven is separating emotional hunger from spiritual alignment. A counterfeit can make you think about them all day and still pull you away from peace. A counterfeit can occupy your mind, disturb your sleep, consume your prayers, and make you call obsession devotion. But a God-sent person will not compete with God for the throne of your heart. They will not require you to choose between loving them and honoring the one who saved you. My precious soul, heaven is not sending someone who will pull you away from the very voice that saved you. Watch this closely. The right person will not mock your faith when you speak about prayer. They will not make your devotion feel childish, extreme, embarrassing, or inconvenient. They will not pressure you into compromise and then accuse you of being difficult when your spirit says no. They will not drag you back into habits God already delivered you from. They will not make you feel like obedience is the thing ruining the connection. No. The person God is confirming will respect the sacred places in you. They may still be growing. They may still be learning. They may not use all the same words you use, but there will be a reverence around your walk with God, not a resistance to it. Do not miss this, because the sign may already be near you. There may already be someone whose presence makes you better, but you dismiss them because they were not wrapped in drama. You dismiss them because they did not pull you into emotional chaos. You dismiss them because they did not make you beg for attention. You dismissed them because your wounded heart was still addicted to the kind of connection that made you feel like you had to earn love through anxiety. But heaven is saying, look again, look with healed eyes, look for fruit, not fireworks, look for alignment, not agitation. When the right connection is being confirmed, you will begin to notice fruit rising in you, more patience, more self-control, more peace, more courage, less desperation, less panic. Less of that frantic need to force, chase, check, prove, and decode. You begin to pray from surrender instead of fear. You begin to make decisions with wisdom instead of emotional survival. You begin to feel your standards becoming holy again. Not hard, not bitter, not closed, but clear. That is not ordinary. That is a divine signal. The wrong person will often pull you into secrecy, confusion, and compromise. The right person will help your life come into the light. The wrong person makes you hide pieces of yourself to keep the connection alive. The right person makes you want to become whole before God. The wrong person makes you afraid that if you obey God, you will lose them. The right person helps you trust that what is truly sent by God will not require disobedience to survive. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is why your discernment must slow down. Do not only ask, "Do I want them?" Ask, "Who do I become around them? Do I become prayerful or restless, honest or hidden, peaceful or panicked, obedient or compromised, more anchored in God or more addicted to attention?" Because the person God is confirming will not pull you out of your purpose just to satisfy your loneliness. They will not weaken the very foundation God has been building in you. And this is the holy clue that may shock you. The person may not be the one who makes your emotions scream the loudest. It may be the one whose presence makes your spirit stand straighter. The one who makes peace feel possible. The one who reminds you, without force, that love can be clean, love can be wise, love can be spiritually safe. And when their presence keeps pulling you closer to God instead of away from Him, heaven is whispering, "Pay attention, my child. This is not just attraction, this is alignment." And now the third confirmation begins to move around you, my child. And this is where the atmosphere may start speaking in a way you cannot easily ignore. Because when God is highlighting someone, He can allow their name, their initial, their city, their favorite song, their repeated phrase, their number, their memory, or even a simple detail connected to them to begin circling your life like a divine whisper. Not to create confusion, not to make you obsessive, not to turn every small thing into a prophecy, but to awaken what your spirit has already been quietly discerning. Stay with me, because this is a sensitive part of the revelation. The signs are not the foundation. Peace is the foundation. Character is the foundation. Spiritual fruit is the foundation. The signs are the confirmation layer. They are like little lights along a path God has already been making clear inside your spirit. If the person has no fruit, if their character keeps harming you, if their presence keeps pulling you away from God, then do not let a repeated number convince you to ignore what their actions have already revealed. Heaven will not send a sign to make you marry confusion. God will not use a dream to tell you to surrender your discernment. But when peace is present, when fruit is present, when your spirit gets quiet around them, when their presence pulls you closer to God, then watch what begins to happen around their name. You may hear their name in a random conversation while you are not even looking for it. You may see their initial more than once in places that feel strangely timed. You may wake up remembering a dream that carried their presence without chaos, without fear, without desperation. You may hear a song that reminds you of something they said. You may see a location connected to them, a street name, a message, a notification, a phrase repeated by someone who does not even know what it means to you. And God is saying, pay attention, but do not panic, because the true sign will not feel like pressure. It will not throw your spirit into a frantic search. It will not make you lose sleep trying to decode every license plate, every clock, every post, every sound, every stranger's sentence, every little movement in your environment. My precious soul, God is not trying to drive you into obsession. He is trying to bring you into recognition. There is a difference. Obsession makes you chase proof because you are afraid. Discernment receives confirmation because peace has already spoken. Something huge is waiting for you in the next few days, and I need you to hear this carefully. God may use something simple to confirm something sacred, a name spoken behind you in a store, an old message appearing at the right time, a notification that brings the person back to your attention, a phrase you heard them say suddenly showing up in another conversation, a number, a color, a place, a date, a song, an initial, a dream, not as the whole answer, but as a divine tap on your shoulder saying, do not dismiss what I have been showing you. But do not force it, my child. Do not take one coincidence and build a covenant on it. Do not twist signs to keep holding on to someone whose fruit keeps contradicting heaven. Do not use spiritual clues to excuse emotional chaos. If the sign is from God, it will agree with peace. It will agree with character. It will agree with spiritual fruit. It will not make you more afraid. It will not make you more desperate. It will not pull you into confusion. It will come with a calm weight, a holy steadiness, a quiet knowing that does not have to scream to be real. This is why the third confirmation is powerful, but it must be tested. The external sign may point toward the person, but the inner witness must remain clean. The repeated name may awaken your attention, but the person's life must still show alignment. The dream may stir your heart, but their behavior must still carry humility, honesty, patience, and consistency. God is not asking you to follow signs blindly. He is teaching you to let signs agree with what His peace has already been teaching your spirit. So when their name begins to circle you, do not run ahead of God. When their initial appears, do not become frantic. When the song plays, when the phrase repeats, when the memory returns, when the unexpected reminder comes, pause and ask, Lord, does this agree with peace? Does this agree with fruit? Does this agree with wisdom? Because the sign that is truly from heaven will not drag you back into the old emotional storm. It will gently awaken what your spirit has quietly known. This is not pressure. This is not obsession. This is not familiar chaos, returning in a spiritual disguise. This is confirmation, beginning to surround alignment. And now heaven is turning the light in a direction you may not have expected, my child, because the person God is confirming may not be the one who consumed your thoughts until you could barely sleep. It may not be the one whose silence made you check your phone every few minutes. It may not be the one you built a whole fantasy around, while their fruit kept giving you questions instead of peace. The shocking reversal is this. It may be the one who quietly respected your heart while you were still distracted by the one who kept activating your wounds. Stay with me, because this is where many people miss the answer standing closer than they realized. You may have overlooked them because they did not match your old type. You may have overlooked them because they did not create that familiar rush in your nervous system. You may have overlooked them because your heart was still attached to a picture, a fantasy, a pattern, a face, a voice, a person you kept hoping would finally become consistent. And while you were staring at the door that kept closing, God may have been allowing another presence to remain steady near you, not forcing, not manipulating, not demanding, but quietly showing a different kind of fruit. Do not scroll away from this, because this revelation is tender. God is not saying this to embarrass you. He is not exposing your blindness to shame you. He is freeing you from a narrow expectation that made you think love had to arrive dressed like your old desire. Sometimes the heart becomes so loyal to its own imagination that it cannot recognize a blessing unless it comes in the package it already chose. But heaven does not always confirm what your wound wanted. Heaven confirms what your spirit needs. This person could be a friend whose consistency you called ordinary because it did not feel dramatic. It could be someone from a past season who has matured, healed, and become different from the version you once knew. It could be someone new whose presence feels strangely peaceful, almost too calm for the part of you that is used to chasing sparks. It could be someone you did not initially consider romantic because your attention was trapped in the direction of someone who kept you emotionally activated. I am not telling you to force a feeling where there is no peace. I am telling you to ask God to cleanse your sight so you can recognize what peace has been trying to show you. Something huge is waiting for you in this reversal, because the God-sent person may be quieter, steadier, and closer than you expected. They may not announce themselves with chaos. They may not trigger the old cycle of longing, panic, pursuit, and relief. They may not make you feel like you are standing on the edge of losing them every time they speak. Instead, they may show up with patience. They may listen without turning your vulnerability into a weapon. They may honor your boundaries without making you feel guilty for having them. They may carry a calm strength that your old appetite did not know how to value. And God is saying, my child, I am not asking you to settle. I am asking you to discern. There is a difference between settling for someone you do not love and recognizing someone your wounded patterns did not know how to desire yet. There is a difference between forcing a connection and allowing God to open your eyes to spiritual safety. There is a difference between chemistry that keeps you addicted and covenant peace that helps you become whole. Do not reject peace just because it does not feel like the chaos that once trained your heart. The counterfeit often enters loudly and leaves you empty. The covenant may enter gently and leave your spirit strengthened. The counterfeit makes you chase a fantasy. The covenant helps you recognize fruit. The counterfeit makes you afraid to lose what never truly covered you. The covenant teaches you that love can be steady without being weak, calm without being cold, safe without being boring. So look again, my precious soul, not with desperation, not with pressure, not with fear. Look again with healed eyes. Because the shocking sign may not be that God suddenly brings a stranger from far away. The shocking sign may be that He opens your eyes to someone you dismissed because your pain was louder than your peace. And when peace, character, spiritual fruit, and repeated confirmation begin to agree, you will understand why heaven had to interrupt the old chase. God was not hiding love from you. He was teaching you how to recognize it when it arrived without the storm. And now listen carefully, my child, because when the real door begins to open, the counterfeit often reacts. When your spirit begins to get quiet around the right person, when peace starts becoming recognizable, when fruit starts speaking louder than fantasy, do not be surprised if the old cycle suddenly tries to call your name again. A message may come, an apology may appear, a memory may be stirred. A person who once gave you confusion may suddenly offer attention. The one who was silent may suddenly have words. The one who made you feel forgotten may suddenly act like they cannot stop thinking about you. And God is saying, do not be moved too quickly. Test the spirit of the return. Stay with me, because this is a serious discernment moment. Not every return is restoration. Not every apology is alignment. Not every tear is transformation. Not every "I miss you" means "I am ready to love you correctly." Sometimes the old connection does not return because it has changed. Sometimes it returns because it feels you leaving the emotional territory where it once had power. Sometimes the familiar voice comes back just as the peaceful door becomes visible, because the old cycle wants to regain control before you finally recognize freedom. Do not trade a peaceful door for a familiar cycle just because the old voice finally called your name. Do not abandon holy calm because someone from your past suddenly learned the words you used to beg them to say. Do not let one emotional message erase a pattern of inconsistency. Do not let one apology make you forget months of confusion, disrespect, distance, manipulation, avoidance, or spiritual unrest. My precious soul, promises can be spoken in a moment, but fruit is proven over time. God is not asking you to become cold. He is asking you to become clear. The counterfeit knows how to create a dramatic moment. It knows how to pull the thread of your compassion. It knows how to remind you of the good memories while skipping over the wounds that never healed properly. It may come with sweet words, sudden vulnerability, regret, longing, or a story that makes you feel responsible for reopening a door God already gave you peace about closing. But heaven is saying, watch the pattern, not the performance. Watch whether humility remains after the emotion fades. Watch whether accountability continues after the conversation ends. Watch whether changed words become changed behavior. Watch whether peace stays, or whether your spirit immediately returns to anxiety, decoding, and fear. Something huge is waiting for you on the other side of this test, and this is why the timing matters. The counterfeit often becomes loud when the covenant becomes clear. The old cycle may not have valued you when you were available, but it may panic when it senses that your heart is no longer orbiting around its confusion. It may try to interrupt the divine download with nostalgia. It may try to make chaos feel exciting again. It may try to convince you that familiar pain is safer than unfamiliar peace. But God is saying, my child, do not confuse intensity with destiny. The true person will not need manipulation to stay visible. Their fruit will speak. Their consistency will speak. Their patience will speak. Their honor will speak. They will not have to pull you into panic to make you notice them. They will not need to disappear so you crave them, return so you chase them, wound you so you bond to them, or confuse you so you keep seeking answers. What is from God does not have to control your nervous system to hold your attention. It will carry a quiet strength that remains even when there is no drama. So if the old voice comes back, pause. If the message arrives, breathe. If the apology touches something tender in you, take it to God before you take it as a sign. Ask, Lord, is this restoration or is this repetition? Is this fruit or is this a familiar emotional hook? Is this peace or is this the old storm wearing softer language? Because the real connection will not require you to betray your discernment. The real door will not demand that you ignore the evidence of peace. And when the final confirmation comes, it will not be built on panic, pressure, or a sudden emotional performance. It will be built on peace, repetition, and fruit agreeing together until your spirit can finally say, this is not the old chase. This is God bringing clarity. And now the shocking sign comes into focus. My child, And I need you to listen with your whole spirit, because this is the part the enemy of your peace did not want you to understand. The sign that will shock you is not one coincidence. It is not one dream. It is not one song. It is not one initial on a screen. It is not one moment where your heart jumped because a name appeared in front of you. The shocking sign is the agreement. Heaven confirms carefully. God does not build covenant clarity on one isolated emotional spark. He allows peace inside you, repetition around you, and fruit in them to begin speaking the same message until your spirit cannot deny that something holy is being arranged. Stay with me, because this is where confusion begins to break. My child, when peace inside you, signs around you, and fruit in them begin speaking the same message, heaven is no longer whispering randomly. Heaven is confirming carefully. That is the revelation. That is the sacred pattern. That is the divine witness. Your spirit gets quiet around them. Their name, their initials, their conversations, their presence, or details connected to them begin returning in ways you did not force. And then, when you look at their life, you do not just see charm. You see fruit. You see consistency. You see humility. You see patience. You see accountability. You see a person who does not only make you feel something, but who carries evidence that God has been working in them. Do not rush past this, because a sign without character can deceive you. A repeated name without fruit can pull you into fantasy. A dream without peace can keep you attached to confusion. An initial on a license plate, a number on a clock, a song in a store, a sentence from a stranger, these things can feel powerful, but they are not strong enough to override a lack of honor. If their life keeps producing disorder, dishonesty, manipulation, spiritual distance, emotional carelessness, or inconsistency, then slow down. Do not let the atmosphere become louder than wisdom. God is not sending external clues so you can ignore internal warning. Heaven will never ask you to call chaos confirmation. An attraction without peace can damage you, my precious soul. You can want someone deeply and still not be safe with them. You can feel drawn and still be disturbed. You can feel chemistry and still lose your center. You can feel fire and still be walking toward a place where your spirit becomes exhausted. This is why God is not letting you measure love by intensity anymore. Your old pattern measured connection by how much it shook you. Your healed spirit is learning to measure connection by whether it keeps you anchored. If desire is present but peace is absent, slow down. If passion is present but prayer becomes anxious, slow down. If the thought of them pulls you into fear, checking, chasing, proving, and decoding, slow down. And listen carefully, because even kindness alone is not always the full confirmation. Someone can be kind and still not be aligned. Someone can be gentle and still not be assigned. Someone can treat you well in a season and still not carry the covenant direction God is revealing for your life. This does not make them evil. This does not mean they are counterfeit in a dramatic way. It simply means you must allow God to reveal the whole picture. Kindness matters, respect matters, peace matters. But alignment must also be present. Purpose must agree, faith must be honored, timing must be submitted to God. The path must not require you to abandon wisdom just because someone is pleasant. Something huge is waiting for you in this agreement, and when it happens, it may feel like a holy click in your spirit. You may suddenly realize that the person you feel calm around is the same person whose name has been appearing without you searching for it. The one whose presence does not make you panic is the same one whose initials keep crossing your path. The one whose conversations leave you more grounded is the same one God keeps bringing back through reminders, dreams, repeated phrases, unexpected mentions, and quiet moments that feel too ordered to be random. And then you look again, not with obsession, not with desperation, but with discernment, and you see fruit. Not a performance, not a temporary emotional display. Fruit that has remained. This is the moment where the old confusion loses its authority, because now you are not standing on one feeling. You are not standing on one sign. You are not standing on one fantasy. You are standing in the agreement of three witnesses. Peace is speaking from within. Repetition is speaking from around you. Fruit is speaking from their life. And when those three begin to testify together, heaven is giving you something stronger than excitement. Heaven is giving you clarity. But do not turn clarity into rushing. Do not take confirmation and run ahead of God. Do not build the whole story in your mind before God has revealed the next step. This is where many hearts make a mistake. They receive a sign, and then they begin planning, forcing, watching, pressing, imagining, and trying to control the outcome. My child, confirmation is not permission to panic. Confirmation is an invitation to surrender. Pray, observe, let time speak. Let wise counsel see what your emotions may not see. Let God reveal the connection in order. If this is truly from Him, it will not require frantic hands to hold it together. The right confirmation will not make you less sober. It will make you more steady. It will not make you careless. It will make you prayerful. It will not make you ignore counsel. It will make you humble enough to receive it. It will not make you hide the connection in secrecy because deep down something feels off. It will bring light, patience, order, and peace. The Holy Spirit is not rushing you into fantasy. God is training you to recognize covenant with clean eyes. So when peace, repetition, and fruit begin to agree, pause and honor the weight of it. Say, Lord, if this is you, confirm it in peace. Confirm it in wisdom. Confirm it in timing. Confirm it in fruit that remains. Do not be afraid to move slowly. What is from God can survive patience. What is from God can survive prayer. What is from God can survive being observed in the light. The shocking sign is not the loudest feeling. It is the holy agreement that keeps standing after emotion settles. Peace within you, signs around you, fruit in them. And when all three speak together, your spirit will know, this is not the old chase returning. This is God confirming carefully. And now, my child, before love becomes clear, before the next door opens, before the name becomes undeniable, before the final pieces settle into place, your response must be surrender, not panic, not chasing, not trying to force the timeline, not grabbing at every sign with trembling hands. Surrender, because what God is preparing for you does not need to be held together by fear. What God has chosen for you will not require you to abandon your peace in order to keep it. So pause right here and let this become your prayer. Lord, remove confusion from my heart. Remove every foggy place where fear has been pretending to be wisdom. Remove every emotional attachment that keeps pulling me back into cycles you already tried to deliver me from. Expose every counterfeit connection with gentleness, but with clarity. Let what is false lose its power over me. Let what is only familiar stop looking like destiny. Let what is only lonely desire stop sounding like your voice. Heal the wounds that taught me to choose from anxiety. Heal the places in me that thought inconsistency was love. Heal the memories that made chaos feel normal and peace feel strange. God, I ask you to help this precious soul stop choosing from fear, stop choosing from loneliness, stop choosing from pressure, stop choosing because time feels delayed, stop choosing because the heart is tired of waiting. Let them choose from wholeness. Let them choose from wisdom. Let them choose from your presence. Let them choose only what agrees with peace, character, timing, and spiritual fruit. If someone is not chosen by you, give them the strength to release that person without bitterness. If someone is only an emotional echo from an old wound, let the attachment break. If someone has been sent as a distraction, let the disguise fall away. And Lord, when the right person begins to become clear, let them be recognized by the right evidence. Not obsession, not impatience, not desperation, not the trembling need to be chosen. Let them be recognized by covenant peace. Let them be recognized by wisdom that remains steady. Let them be recognized by timing that does not require manipulation. Let them be recognized by character that can be observed in the light. Let them be recognized by spiritual fruit that keeps speaking after the excitement settles. Let this viewer know the difference between a soul tie and a God-ordered connection, between anxiety and destiny, between a familiar storm and holy peace. I declare over you now, my child, you will not miss what God has prepared. You will not chase what God has not chosen. You will not confuse anxiety with destiny again. You will not call panic passion. You will not call inconsistency mystery. You will not call emotional chaos confirmation. Your eyes are being cleansed. Your spirit is being steadied. Your heart is being healed. The right door will not be hidden from you when God says it is time. The right person will not need to drag you out of peace to prove they matter. The right connection will be confirmed by peace, fruit, timing, and wisdom. So receive this calmly. Do not rush after this message. Do not run into someone's arms because one sign appeared. Walk with God. Pray with clean hands. Watch with sober eyes. Let the Holy Spirit keep confirming what is real and removing what is not. The final answer belongs to God, and you can trust Him with the timing. If this prayer is yours, write this declaration in the comments. I receive divine peace and discernment in love. Let it be your agreement that you are no longer choosing confusion. If you need clarity about a relationship, leave your prayer request and let this space become a place of surrender. Share this message with someone who is waiting for confirmation. Like this video if you are choosing God's peace over confusion, and subscribe for more God-centered messages about love, healing, and discernment. What God has prepared will not require fear to find you. Peace will lead you there.